Régis, it's amazing how this till the end just keeps happening, keeps coming through.
Yes, it shows that the team has a really strong character, the faith that we can change a dynamic of a game with just one decision, good connection with our crowd, and it happened once again.
There was a period in the second half where it felt like Arsenal were quite dominant and playing really well. But overall, do you think you were good value?
Yeah, it's still tough against a team like Arsenal, one of the best teams in Europe. So you have to do a masterclass. Otherwise, it's impossible to win something. I think the first half was well balanced. We tried to defend high when it was possible, and organize a deep block, really compact, narrow, aggressive, and we had the opportunity to manage the ball sometimes. And we even felt that it was possible to disturb them in that part. The second half was a bit tougher because you defend for long periods and then you have to stay composed with the ball. And we still have a really young squad, really young players without a great experience in the Premier League. So it's a good lesson.
You've been talking for a few weeks about Brian and how difficult it is for players to come in later in the window when they miss pre-season. He's clearly been looking sharper in the last couple of weeks, including in the U21s. Did you feel like that movement was coming forward?
Yeah, we felt that he improved a lot. He needed time to change from another club to a new league, new teammates. So he worked hard, and I think he deserves this reward.
It was telling that Hugh and Ballard, who were involved in that goal, they're two of the players from last season. Despite all the transfers and new players coming in, they're performing really strong, especially tonight.
Yeah, they are really important. They are good players, first of all, and they have this mentality, this character, which makes the link between the past and the future, and they are really important for that.
Just asking me on Brian, is it the perfect situation at the moment? You've got Wilson, who defends from the front, the other he puts in, and then you've got Brian and Eliza who can come up with it.
Yeah, our four subs were really important because we are this league and probably our game model are really demanding for our forwards. Don't just have to stay wide waiting for the next pass. You have to work hard with the squad. Otherwise, we can't defend against a strong squad like Arsenal. So they worked well for 60 minutes. Then 4 players came on the pitch, and those finishers help to maintain the energy, the quality of the organization, and they have different profiles. So when you start against Wilson, for example, you know that it will be a threat in behind, even if now he has the ability to hold the ball. With Brian, you'll have another profile, totally different, and he's a good scorer as well.
I know you said, Régis, that it was a bit of an unknown. You didn't really know how any of the players would take this season, but there are some of the players from last season who haven't played an awful lot of football, and yet Trey and Dan, you pretty much trusted right from the start. I mean, did you always feel that those two in particular could take that step?
Only Granit we knew before, but
Yeah.
experience in the Premier League is okay. For the others, we have to find out, and step by step. And I'm always confident because I know how they work, how they behave, how they are connected with the squad. Their knowledge about tactics and the game model is really high. So I'm pretty confident, and I'm not really surprised.
And Phil talked about the till the end stuff, and we talked about the end of last season. It's easy to have a phrase like that actually deep down doesn't mean an awful lot. But it feels like with the players in this squad, they do believe that no matter what the scenario is in a game, because they've done it so often now, it can happen for them right at the end.
Yeah, well, I think we were just on the edge when after the 2-1, and Arsenal were dominant, and they were able to keep the ball. But with the energy of the stadium, I think the characteristic of our players and the background we have now, I think it's really positive for this phase and this belief that we can change the dynamic.
And then that 20 minutes or so that you talk about Arsenal, getting on top there, is that the toughest 20 minutes you think your team have had this season? And if so, how proud are you for the fact that they worked their way through it on the pitch?
Yeah, a squad like that has the ability to stay composed on the ball, to get high on the pitch, and then they counter press really aggressively with good organization, and it's so hard to escape this pressure. So after that, you try to go long. If you don't win the first contact, you go again, and you can't breathe. And it was really tough. And but something changed. Sometimes you don't know what exactly, with energy, with just one decision, and happy for our players.
Could I ask you about Ballard in terms of obviously scored a goal, set up the goal, saved the goal at the end, and he's an ex-Arsenal player. Obviously, could you see what it really meant to him today?
Yeah, probably it was important for him. It was really important for Granit, but they didn't get too emotional. Sometimes it's possible. They were just really composed, so they showed their quality, and was really important for the squad. Yeah,
what
really.
did it do for his belief in a game like this to have such an influence at both ends, to do that in the Premier League against Arsenal?
He's tall, he's big, he's aggressive, and he has good quality. I think he's talented as a defender. I hope he'll continue to grow like that.
Régis, if it was an incident to characterise your team, would you say it was the block at the end from Ballard where he throws himself in front of it?
Yeah. I was surprised when I started here about their attitudes to defend the goal. And here in Sunderland, we have many players who will give their life to keep a clean sheet or to stop a shot. And it's a question of mentality, it's a question of technique as well. And for example, Trey, Ballard, Luke are really good for that.
You said, sorry, you mentioned the word masterclass just before. Would you say this is your best before, even though it was only a point, is this the best performance since you've come back up?
I think from a mentality perspective, it's probably one of the best, even if we did well before. After that, we have room for improvement everywhere, I think. So it's good for us because we know that we are really young in this league, and we are learning from every lesson. And it was one more interesting step today.
Régis, yesterday I asked you about how important character could be in a game like this, and bridging on what you've just said about players giving their all for this club, was that a demonstration of just how strong their character is?
Yeah, I think so. They are really well connected. I think we were a bit on the edge, but it's the life in the Premier League, I think. But we found a way to change the dynamic, and yeah, it's positive this way.
Régis, it's a really good point, but obviously as well, still unbeaten at home in the league this season. Just how much of a fortress is the Stadium of Light? Because it seems every single game, suddenly the feeling system of bravery gets more and more from the players who are playing at home.
Yeah, I think the energy of our stands, our fans, is really important. We can feel it. I spoke about this topic before. When you are on the pitch, just one tackle, one decision, one counter press, you go in behind and you try to change the dynamic. When you feel the crowd, it's so noisy that I think it helps a lot, and I hope it will be the case later again.
Speaking of home comforts, the advertising hoardings seem to be a little closer to the pitch.
Are you sure?
Usual.
Yeah. Are you sure?
Seem to be, yes, fair bit. Do you know anything about that?
No, I
Must
don't.
have been the wind.
No. Maybe. Yeah. Probably. Yeah.
Just a quick one, obviously. People might look at that setup that you've gone with tonight, 5 at the back, 4 in midfield. But when you actually watch the game, you've got your 2 centre halves at one point, Dan Ballard's playing in the midfield, tracking the run of Régis. Can you just talk a little bit about that decision to go man for man in that sort of situation?
Yeah, it's probably now in football, in the modern football, you don't have only one structure. I think it's really important to use a 5-4-1 in a deep block. And today, because Arsenal have so much quality that you have to think a bit. In the mid block, we tried sometimes to go in 4-4-2, and higher up the pitch, we have the willingness to go man for man and try to press high. So 3 different structures, and after that, I think the opponent can dictate the structure you'll use the more. And it was probably the 5-4-1 was in the deep block was very important today.
Was Ballard injured whenever you first came in? Because he wasn't in the first few teams.
Yeah.
And also then, can you talk about his development over the past?
Yeah, last season he had an injury early in the season, so he struggled to find the good rhythm. And if you miss the pre-season, I think physically it's still difficult to find the good connection with your own performance, the squad, and so on. He showed at the end of the season that he was a really good defender. So it was mainly a question of form and consistency. And I think now he tries on his way, but with the coaching staff, with all the staff we have around the player, we try to find the right balance because it's a specific profile. You can't train Ballard like you train midfielder or someone like that. So I hope it will be the case for the following steps of the season.
Since May, for example, have you seen a development in him physically, mentally, psychologically?
If you experience the Premier League like we are doing now, I think you can learn every time. So it's the case. Our teammates are probably better this season. Our opponents are better this season. And if you are still consistent, you are playing many games, I think you learn every day. That's all.
Régis, on pensait pour Canal+, un mot sur l'ambiance de ce soir, un stade à l'anglaise, c'est une ambiance qu'on ne connaît pas forcément en France, on les a sentis vous pousser et exploser à la fin.
Oui, enfin, les supporters ici à Sunderland, ils vivent pour le football. Donc, depuis quelques temps maintenant, on a réussi à susciter des ondes positives, à la fois par la manière dont on joue. Je crois qu'on sent à la fois de l'ambition, de l'intensité, une équipe très collective. Et puis, il y a surtout la volonté d'aller jusqu'au bout. Et donc, quand cette connexion, elle s'opère, ils peuvent nous aider. Et puis, ça permet de changer un peu la dynamique des matchs. Et donc, ça crée une sorte d'effet boule de neige. Et ça, on a la chance d'avoir ce type de supporters ici.
When Dan scored, he kind of flexed these muscles. Physically, looks like he's changed. Is that deliberate? Has he got his other body strength to be in this division?
I think he's a big man. So, not too heavy. Yeah. It's much better. And at the minute, I think he's in a good shape. So don't change anything. Yeah.